Heard a story about a guy the other day. He was running late and just one of those mornings. He's going a little too fast and was pulled over by the local police officer. He did absolutely everything he could do to try to get out of the ticket, but the officer just wasn't budging. So the guy took his ticket, went on with his day. A couple of days later, the local recreational softball league started up, and luck would have it that these two would actually meet up again. Dave the speeder was the umpire, and the police officer would lead off batter for the next game. They recognized each other, and the officer, he asked, "Hey, how'd the ticket process end up going?" And the umpire simply smiled and said, "Swing at everything." Have you ever dealt with unforgiveness? Because unforgiveness is underestimated in a lot of our lives, and it has to be dealt with. I heard one preacher say, a person who lives with unforgiveness does three things. They curse the offense, they nurse the offense, and they rehearse the offense. Today, I want to look at the subject of unforgiveness in our reading. And Jesus says there's a lot at stake when we have unforgiveness in our hearts. It's bigger than a softball game. Instead, it affects the most powerful weapon that we are given on this planet, our prayers. Listen to what Jesus instructs us about prayer and about unforgiveness. So Mark 11:25-26 says this: "Truly I tell you, if anyone says to this mountain, 'Go, throw yourself into the sea,' and does not doubt in their heart, but believes that what they say will happen, it will be done for them. Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. And when you stand praying, if you hold anything against anyone, forgive them, so that your Father in heaven may forgive you your sins." Today, our reading tells us that one of the things that affects the effectiveness of our prayers is unforgiveness in our hearts towards others. There are two significant moments in this chapter dealing with prayer. One is in verse 17, as Jesus reminds us that his house will be a house of prayer. While it's a house of worship, house of preaching, house of connections, house of discipleship, we can never allow it to lose its place as a house of prayer. But also look at verses 22-24. And it says, "And Jesus answered them and said to them, 'Have faith in God. Truly I say to you that whoever says to this mountain, be taken up and thrown into the sea, and does not doubt it in his heart, but believes that what he says it's going to happen, it will be granted to him. Therefore I say to you, all things for which you pray and ask, believe that you have received them, and that they will be guaranteed to you.'" It's Mark 11:23-24. But one thing can hinder these mountains from being moved and put into the sea, and it's unforgiveness. Jesus is saying, have faith and believe that anything that we ask for can be accomplished, except when we don't forgive ourselves for leaving socks out, or our kids for their attitude, or being wronged by a coworker, or a friend sharing that secret with somebody else. That can hinder our mountains from being moved. The question I want to ask is it worth it? If my not forgiving people was hindering me from seeing the impossible done in my life and in my circumstances, is it worth it to hold that grudge any longer? I heard a preacher once say, "Don't try to ask big if unforgiveness is big in you." Ooh, that one hurts a little bit, right? But every time I'm tempted to hold grudges or hold on to unforgiveness, I think about the other mountains in my life, and I think too much of myself. Is it worth it that this mountain may not be moving for me to stay upset at that person and not provide that forgiveness that I know I need to? So today, I know that this will be hard, but I want to encourage you right now. Write, text, call, message, reach out to that person and forgive them. I know this is a big ask, because if it was small or it was easy, you'd already done it. But reach out to them today and provide them with the forgiveness. Now, they don't need to accept it, receive it, or anything, but you need to give it to them so that you can move past your unforgiveness. So one of the ways that I know that I've moved past my issue of unforgiveness is when I stop telling the story. So today, let's stop telling the stories. And then let's pray big prayers. Let's pray mountains into the sea, and let's see God do incredible things in our lives.